Everyone is talking about where not to buy in 2026. The foreclosure maps. The insurance redlining corridors. The falling knife markets where families stretched everything they had to buy at the peak, and are now sitting underwater on the appreciation story they were sold, watching equity quietly evaporate while the mortgage payment stays exactly the same. We built that warning map in our last video. If you missed it, it is right above this one. But here is what the doom loop misses completely. Right now, the US housing market feels fundamentally rigged against the middle-class buyer. While Wall Street funds swallow up starter homes with all-cash offers, and the media tells you to just accept being a forever renter, smart money is not leaving real estate in 2026. It is not sitting on the sidelines, white-knuckling a savings account while the algorithm keeps promising a crash the data keeps refusing to deliver. Smart money is doing what it has always done, relocating. Quietly. Deliberately. Into the zip codes where the fundamentals are airtight and the crowd has not figured it out yet. The national home price appreciation rate in March 2026 was just 1.2% year over year. In real, inflation-adjusted terms, prices at the national level are actually edging lower. That sounds like bad news. Until you understand what a flat national market actually means for a buyer trying to get off the sidelines. It means the shadow inventory of motivated sellers is real. It means the cash-heavy institutional buyers who were crowding out families in 2021 and 2022 have rotated out of the most overextended markets. It means the absorption rate in certain Midwest metros is tightening, not because prices are spiking, but because qualified buyers are finally showing up in markets where the math has always worked. The window is open. Not forever. Right now. I'm Michael, and you're watching Curb Report. Today, we're building the map they never built for you. One headline number before we go location by location. Because this data reshapes the entire 2026 housing narrative in about 15 seconds flat. The biggest home price winner in America right now is Kansas City, up 8.6% year over year through February 2026. Pittsburgh gained 5.8%. Cleveland gained 5.9%. St. Louis is up 4.1%. Milwaukee up 3.6%. These are Midwest manufacturing centers exhibiting solid, sustained momentum. These are not obscure secondary markets nobody has heard of. These are real American cities with professional sports franchises, Level 1 trauma centers, Big Ten university research corridors, and diversified job markets where a household earning the median U.S. income can actually buy a house, build real equity, and not spend the next decade being house poor. All 28 of America's 53 largest metros that saw price decreases are concentrated in Florida, California, and Texas. The Sun Belt stampede is correcting. The Midwest, the place the national narrative dismissed as flyover country for a decade, is quietly doing exactly what real estate is supposed to do. Steady appreciation. Predictable carrying costs. No insurance ambush waiting at the closing table. 5 locations. 5 completely different structural reasons to buy. 5 zip codes where the window is open right now. Let's go. Location 1. Kansas City, Missouri. Zip code 64114, the Waldo neighborhood on the city's south side. Here is the stat that stops every serious investor cold. Kansas City posted the highest home price appreciation of any major metro in the entire country, 8.6% year over year through February 2026. AEI co-director E.D. Pinto told Fortune directly, homebuyers are looking to live in these more affordable cities. But here is what separates Kansas City from a flash-in-the-pan story that already ran past the entry point. Kansas City's median sale price is 32% lower than the national average. The median sale price over the 3 months ending April 2026 was $290,000, with homes moving off market in just 32 days. 32% below national average. Prices running up 8.6%. Homes clearing in 32 days. That is the trifecta investors hunt for: dirt cheap entry, rising equity, and high absorption rate velocity. You are not chasing a market that already ran. You are buying into the early innings of a structural migration shift. Kansas City was named among the top 10 U.S. housing markets by both the National Association of Realtors and Zillow heading into 2026. With just 2.2 months of supply, Kansas City remains in seller's market territory. A balanced market requires 4 to 6 months. 2.2 months of supply. That is a market with genuine inventory constraint. Buyers who wait another 6 months will pay more for the same house with fewer options on the table. Now zip code 64114 specifically, the Waldo neighborhood. The median home sale price in Waldo is $300,000, up 8% year over year. Homes in Waldo sell in 30 days on average, compared to the national average of 58 days. Waldo is a walkable, established corridor, real restaurant scene, strong school access, brick bungalows, and craftsman homes with actual neighborhood identity. Not cookie-cutter new construction sitting on the suburban fringe. This is an area with gentrification creep already beginning to move up from the South Kansas City commercial strips, which means buyers who get in now are buying ahead of the price appreciation wave, not behind it. Now let's run the real math. Lenders today will regularly let you stretch your debt-to-income ratios past 36%, but here at Curb Report, we use the conservative 28% front-end benchmark. We don't want you just qualifying for a loan, we want your household baseline safe. Because this is where I need to be straight with you. A $300,000 home in Waldo with 10% down, $30,000, at a 6.5% 30-year fixed rate puts your principal and interest at roughly $1,765 a month. Add Kansas City's property taxes, which run approximately 1.2% annually, or $3,600 a year, and homeowners insurance at around $150 a month. Your total PITI, principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, comes to approximately $2,215 a month. To hit the 28% front-end DTI threshold that most lenders use as the comfort zone, a household needs to be earning approximately $95,000 a year. The Kansas City metro median household income supports this math, and the city's job market, anchored by healthcare, logistics, and a growing tech presence, is producing those income levels for an increasing share of the workforce. This is not a market for buyers at the absolute bottom of the income ladder. It is a market for dual-income households, working professionals, and families who have been priced out of Austin, Nashville, and Denver, and are doing the math correctly for the first time. Those families are the ones moving to Waldo right now. And they are not regretting it. Because finding a zip code where the math actually works is the only real way to escape the forever renter trap that institutional investors want you stuck in. Location 2. Huntsville, Alabama. Zip code 35811, the Northeast Corridor. Set aside whatever mental image you have of Alabama real estate. Because the Huntsville story in 2026 is not a Southern affordability play. It is a federal employment play. And that distinction is everything when you are stress testing the long-term stability of a real estate market. Huntsville's economy is anchored in aerospace, defense, and engineering, with major employers including the Redstone Arsenal and NASA's Marshall Space Flight Center. This consistent job growth fuels housing demand in a way structurally different from markets dependent on tech layoffs or corporate relocations that can reverse overnight. Federal defense contracts do not evaporate in a recession. NASA does not cut half its engineering workforce because the 10-year Treasury spiked. The Redstone Arsenal, one of the largest military installations in the country, is not relocating to a cheaper metro because the real estate got too expensive. This demand base has institutional permanence that no private sector employer can match. And here is what that permanence looks like in the housing data. Huntsville home prices were up 3.1% year-over-year in March 2026, with a median sale price of $340,000, 22% below the national average. The overall cost of living in Huntsville is 9% below the national average. 3.1% appreciation. 22% below the national median. 9% below national cost of living. Federal employment anchoring the demand with the kind of permanence that private sector markets simply cannot replicate. Zip code 35811 in Northeast Huntsville shows a median home value of $280,644. When you break down the carrying costs, the stability of that defense income becomes obvious. $280,000 with 10% down, at 6.5% over 30 years, principal and interest at $1,590. Alabama property taxes are among the lowest in the nation, running under 1% annually, roughly $2,300 per year. Insurance at $120 a month. Total PITI, approximately $1,900 a month. To comfortably cover that at 28% DTI, a household needs around $81,400 in annual income. For a dual-income household with one defense sector salary in the picture, that math is very achievable. And that is exactly the buyer profile that Huntsville is pulling in from higher-cost metros right now. Huntsville stands out nationally because of its affordability plus job growth combination. Markets with stronger affordability hold up better through rate cycles because the pool of qualified buyers is deeper and broader. This is not a market people are fleeing. It is a market people are discovering, and the gap between discovery and genuinely expensive is exactly the window this channel is built to find. Pause right here. If this data is fundamentally changing how you look at the 2026 opportunity map, stick with me. Because the fourth zip code we are about to reveal completely breaks every traditional rule about East Coast real estate that has been hammered into middle-class buyers their entire lives. The numbers are almost uncomfortable to say out loud. In the best possible way. Location 3, Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Zip code 15216. The Brookline neighborhood on the south side. Pittsburgh gets no respect in national real estate conversations. No beach. No tech mythology. No Instagram aesthetic. 3 rivers, 446 bridges, and some of the most mathematically compelling residential real estate in the entire Rust Belt sitting in plain sight, completely overlooked by the buyers who need it most. The typical home value in Pittsburgh is $217,555, up 4.2% over the past year according to Zillow. Pittsburgh has the lowest homeowner burden of any major city in the country, requiring only 22.2% of household income to cover the typical monthly mortgage payment of $1,117. An annual income of around $60,400 is all a household needs to afford the typical Pittsburgh home. 22.2% of income. The standard affordability threshold is 30%. Pittsburgh is almost 10 full percentage points under that line. In a country where Los Angeles demands 77% of household income just for the mortgage, Pittsburgh is not a different tier. It is a different planet. Pittsburgh benefits from strong market fundamentals including substantial homeowner equity and disciplined lending standards that prevent distressed sales. Wage growth is outpacing home price appreciation, which directly improves long-term affordability for buyers entering the market today. When wages grow faster than prices, your purchasing power improves with every paycheck. You are not racing against a market sprinting away from you. You are in a market where the buyer sitting on the sidelines today is not going to be fundamentally priced out 6 months from now because the market ran 15% while they were waiting to feel ready. Zip code 15216, Brookline, is where the price-to-livability equation is most compelling. Homes in this corridor trade in the $150,000 to $220,000 range. These are not turnkey flips freshly staged for weekend open houses. These are established residential streets with older housing stock built to last, original hardwood floors, brick construction, the kind of structural bones that do not come with a 12-month builder warranty that expires the day you find the problems. The house hacking opportunity here is particularly real for first-time buyers. Pittsburgh's older housing stock includes a significant percentage of duplex and triplex units in neighborhoods like Brookline. A buyer who owner-occupies one unit and rents the other can offset a meaningful portion of their monthly carrying cost, building equity while their tenant partially covers the mortgage. That strategy, in a market where acquisition prices are still under $200,000 in many pockets, is one of the most financially rational entry points available to a middle-class buyer anywhere in the country right now. This is a buy and hold zip code, not a speculation play. A home, in a city with stable fundamentals, improving job market diversity anchored by UPMC and Carnegie Mellon's research corridor, and a price point that does not require betting your entire financial future on a single transaction. Location 4. Columbus, Ohio. Zip code 43214, the Clintonville neighborhood on the north side of the city. Here is where the East Coast mental model gets broken. Every family from New York, New Jersey, and Philadelphia has heard the same story their entire lives. Ohio is flyover country. Ohio is the consolation prize you accept when you finally admit the coasts have priced you out entirely. Chicago posted a 4.63% year-over-year home price gain in January 2026. Cleveland posted 3.56%. The Midwest as a category is outperforming every major coastal market simultaneously. Columbus specifically is one of the fastest-growing major cities in the Midwest, driven by three institutional anchors that do not disappear when economic conditions shift: Ohio State University, one of the largest universities in the country by enrollment, a massive and expanding healthcare sector anchored by Ohio Health and Nationwide Children's Hospital, and a technology and fintech corridor that has been quietly absorbing talent from San Francisco, Seattle, and New York for 4 consecutive years as remote work arrangements gave workers permission to finally make the math work somewhere it actually makes sense. Columbus added 26,797 people between 2020 and 2024, a 3.0% population increase. The 2023 to 2024 jump of 12,694 residents was the single largest annual gain in the tracked period. Population growth driving housing demand. Healthcare and education anchoring employment. Tech talent migrating in from overpriced coastal markets. That is the structural foundation. Now the specific data on zip code 43214. The typical home value is $389,530, up 2.0% over the past year according to Zillow. Clintonville as a neighborhood saw home prices up 5.1% year-over-year in March 2026, with a median sale price of $440,000. Clintonville is the kind of family-friendly neighborhood that quietly outperforms. Known for craftsman-style homes, local shops, and park access, it is one of the most stable neighborhoods in Columbus, appealing equally to long-term residents and investors who want low vacancy risk. Let's look at the actual damage on a monthly baseline. $440,000 with 10% down at 6.5% over 30 years. Principal and interest at approximately $2,490. Ohio property taxes in Franklin County run roughly 1.8% annually, about $7,920 a year, or $660 a month. Insurance at $150 a month. Total PITI, approximately $3,300 a month. To comfortably hit 28% DTI, a household needs around $141,400 in annual income. That is a dual-income household, both earning in the mid to upper range. This is not a starter home zip code at current prices. Clintonville is a move-up, established professional neighborhood for a true first-time buyer in Columbus. Zip code 43214 is the aspiration. The current sweet spot for entry-level purchasing power is in adjacent corridors. Zip code 43204 in Hilltop, where shadow inventory still exists from earlier years of underinvestment, and prices are running 40 to 50% below Clintonville. The gentrification creep moving west out of Franklinton and downtown toward those corridors is documented and accelerating. The structural advantage Columbus holds for any buyer coming out of a Denver or New Jersey market is that the property tax reassessment shock has already happened. Franklin County completed a massive reappraisal cycle recently, resetting the baseline. Buyers entering now are underwriting their deals on known, updated tax liabilities, not waiting for the county assessor's hammer to drop 3 years after closing. Location 5. The Crown Jewel. St. Paul, Minnesota. Zip code 55105, the Highland Park neighborhood on the southwest side of the city, overlooking the Mississippi River bluffs. This one surprises people every time. Redfin's senior economist Asad Khan described the broader Midwest dynamic directly. Midwest cities and lesser-known places are having a moment, and affordability is the reason. Many of these neighborhoods sit just outside major hubs, hitting a sweet spot, lower cost of living without giving up access to highly rated schools, shopping, and dining. They have the convenience of big cities without the big city price tags. St. Paul sits across the Mississippi River from Minneapolis. Same metro. Same international airport. Same employer ecosystem. United Health Group, the largest health insurer in the country, Target Corporation's global headquarters, 3M, and one of the densest medical device manufacturing corridors in the United States. But St. Paul home prices run 15 to 20% below Minneapolis for directly comparable properties. That gap is the opportunity. Midwest manufacturing centers continue to outperform national averages, with St. Louis up 4.1%, Kansas City at 4%, and Milwaukee up 3.6%, exhibiting solid and sustained momentum. The Twin Cities market is moving in the same structural current, steady compounding appreciation without the volatility that makes Sun Belt markets feel like genius on the way up and a disaster on the way down. Zip code 55105, Highland Park, is a neighborhood that longtime Minneapolis residents have quietly known about for years. Walkable commercial streets anchored by independent restaurants and local retail along Ford Parkway. Direct trail access along the Mississippi River Gorge. A mix of original mid-century ramblers, modest brick colonials, and well-maintained two-story homes that have been owner-occupied, not managed by absentee investor landlords, by the same families for decades. The corporate buyout dynamic that is strangling first-time buyers in Atlanta, where institutional investors control upward of 30% of the single-family rental market, is not a meaningful factor in Highland Park. This is still a neighborhood where individual families compete against other individual families. In 2026 America, that distinction is worth far more than most buyers realize until they have lost 3 consecutive bidding wars to a cash-heavy institutional acquisition team. The median home in zip code 55105 is running in the $250,000 to $310,000 range for established single-family housing stock. On paper, your monthly commitment looks like this. $280,000. 10% down at 6.5% over 30 years, principal and interest at $1,590. Minnesota property taxes in Ramsey County run approximately 1.2%, about $3,360 a year, or $280 a month. Insurance at $130 a month. Total PITI, approximately $2,000 a month. To comfortably cover that at 28% DTI, a household needs approximately $85,700 in annual income. For a dual-income household with one Twin Cities healthcare or corporate anchor salary in the mix, that is very achievable. And Minnesota's insurance market is one of the most stable in the country. None of the zip code level redlining that is quietly killing deals across the Sun Belt exists at that scale in the Twin Cities market. You can get a policy. You can close the deal. The turnkey opportunity in Highland Park is also worth flagging explicitly. Unlike emerging neighborhoods where you are buying into a renovation project and hoping the timeline and budget hold, Highland Park homes are largely move-in ready. Owner-occupants maintain them because they actually lived in them. For a buyer who does not have the bandwidth or capital to manage a major renovation on top of a purchase, this is the zip code where you get established neighborhood quality without paying the fully discovered premium of Clintonville or the tightest parts of Pittsburgh's East End. Let's pull the lens all the way back. 5 zip codes. Kansas City Waldo. Huntsville Northeast. Pittsburgh Brookline. Columbus Clintonville. St. Paul Highland Park. The pattern connecting all 5 is not a coincidence and it is not random. Every single one of these markets has an employment base built on institutions that do not disappear in a downturn. Federal defense contracts. Research universities. Regional healthcare systems. Established manufacturing and logistics corridors. These are not markets built on venture funding rounds or tech sector hiring cycles that reverse on a quarterly earnings call. They are built on things that have been there for decades and will be there for decades more. Every single one of these markets has home prices at or well below the national median, which means the pool of qualified buyers is deep and broad. Markets with deep buyer pools correct less in a downturn and recover faster when conditions improve. When mortgage rates spike, the markets where the PITI math still works at real household incomes hold their value while the overextended markets bleed out. And every single one of these markets is in a region where property tax assessment cycles are predictable, where homeowners' insurance carriers are still actively writing new policies without the zip code level redlining that is quietly shutting down transactions across the Sun Belt, and where the closing table is not a minefield of hidden escrow costs that blow up the monthly budget 6 months after you sign. The data confirms what experienced buyers have always understood: when deciding where to buy, home prices alone are not a reliable indicator of how affordable ownership will actually be. You have to consider how prices compare to local incomes, factor in cost of living, maintenance expenses, property taxes, and insurance, the full cost of ownership, not just the monthly principal and interest. That complete calculation, the honest PITI math, not the glossy listing page monthly estimate, is where these 5 markets win consistently against the flashier alternatives that dominated the national narrative for the last 5 years. The Sun Belt ran hard. It attracted capital, attention, and migration at a scale that fundamentally mispriced the carrying costs for years. And now the correction is playing out the way corrections always do, gradually, then suddenly, in exactly the markets where the fundamentals were most stretched. The Midwest did not run hard. It absorbed buyers steadily, maintained affordability, and is now on the right side of a structural migration shift that has been building for 3 years and is showing no signs of reversing. The families buying in these 5 zip codes today are not gambling on a trend. They ran the actual numbers. They factored in the PITI, the property tax assessment cycle, the insurance market, and the employment stability of the underlying metro. And they made a deliberate decision before the rest of the country caught up with the data. The window is open right now. Not because prices are crashing. Because the crowd has not arrived yet. When the Wall Street Journal runs the Kansas City story on page 1, when institutional capital finally pivots to Pittsburgh's East End, when the national narrative finally catches up with what the AEI Home Price Index has been saying since 2024, prices will follow. That is how markets work. That is how they have always worked. The system wants you to think you are priced out of the American dream. You aren't. The game isn't over, the board just changed. The families getting in now are reading the data early. That is the only edge that has ever mattered in real estate. That is your 2026 opportunity map. 5 zip codes. 5 completely different structural reasons to buy. One number that runs through all of them, the PITI math actually works. For real households. On real incomes. Without betting everything on a market that requires perpetual price appreciation just to justify the entry. Which one of these 5 zip codes surprised you the most? Drop it in the comments right now. Kansas City, Huntsville, Pittsburgh, Columbus, or St. Paul. Tell me what market you are currently in and why it is not working for you. We read every single comment, and the location you choose directly shapes what we build next. And if the warning map from our last video changed how you think about where not to buy, and this video just handed you 5 verified alternatives with real math behind each one, then you already know what the next step is. Subscribe to Curb Report. New data every Tuesday and Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern. The map is yours. Go use it.